Well, good Saturday morning. And I guess if you're watching the recording, it's obviously it's close to Christmas because I've got my hat on. So, guys, I'm Chris Doyle from Jackson, Tennessee. It's always Saturday mornings are always fun for me. I kind of look forward to them because I get to see all the smiling faces. And obviously, as we get close to Christmas, we know really who's really serious now. We're 2 weeks away from Christmas. I guess this is 2 weeks from Christmas Eve today. So we got a lot of folks still plugging in and getting excited because I think it honestly, those people that really do the work now are the ones that are going to reap the benefits later. But before we get started on our guest, we have the first guest. We have always try to do a transformation story. I think sometimes we want to make sure we remember that our company is about more than just one thing. Obviously, lots of folks doing this for the financial side, but there's a lot of people who start here just for the health side or to lose some weight or something like that. And we've got Tom on. I've never met Tom, but Todd has. And so I think Todd's going to do a little interview with Tom and just kind of talk about what he's been through and what is happening for him. So we can spotlight Tom. I don't know if he can raise his hand or whatever. We want to talk about, we were planning to have him on last week and we just got so busy, we didn't get it all done. So Todd, I'm going to turn it to you. You're muted. You're muted.
Yeah, Tom and his Karen wife are in the Pensacola, Florida meeting with Benny and Gracie, who some of you got to hear from last week. But Tom and Karen began the transformation pack, which is the Slenderize, the MOA, the Rejuvenex, and I think they all take the Renew, and they may be trying other products at this point, but they've had just a tremendous transformation. And especially Tom, both on weight loss and some issues he was dealing with neuropathy in his feet and maybe low energy. But instead of me sharing it, Tom, I'm going to turn it to you and Karen and let you guys share why you joined and the transformation that's occurred in your life.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thank you, Todd. Thanks for letting us be here. Tom just wanted me to share real quick because I have wanted him to be on a health journey for a long time, and both of us together, but I wanted to do this together. And so we've known Gracie and Benny Turner for about 37 years. They were our pastors. And when our pastor now got on board with Gracie and Benny's vision about prospering, our soul prospering and prospering in our health, they started the Todd. She invited Laverne, or Gracie invited Todd to our church, and he preached, which was great. And she shared, and then they had a sign-up sheet for a transformation class. And my Tom had always kind of been a little bit of a no. And so this was a great opportunity for us to join the transformation class. And we didn't join that night. That day we actually came home and talked about it. And he said, okay, I'll go. And so we started. And one of the things that Gracie and Benny taught us a long time ago in ministry and in business, that it may be a no one day, but it could be a no, then a yes the next day. And so this is my no. My sweet Tom, I'm so proud of him, and he's going to share what this products have been doing and what the company's doing for us. There you go, sweetie.
Yeah, well, I met Todd at that first meeting, and it was pretty good. I guess Todd would describe me as a skeptic, I think is the word that he used. And I was the reluctant dragon for sure. But we were sitting around swapping one-liners with each other with Todd. And one of the things that I've always heard is if you don't know where you're going to be in 5 years, you're already there. And so I started thinking about that, and they challenged us with what do you want to get out of this class? And the only thing I put down was, yeah, I'd like to lose some weight. So I got the stuff and started taking it, and really didn't think much about it. I said, well, I'll do it. It won't work, and then they'll leave me alone. Well, 40 pounds later, it was kind of hard to say no, that it wasn't working. And so that was really a kind of an impetus to get moving on with it and go on down to my further weight goal. So we're still working on that. But I think thank you for the challenge that caused us to get off the bench and do something about it, because I do want to be somewhere different in 5 years. And the MOA was kind of an unexpected surprise. You know, the Slenderize and everything was great for losing the weight, but the MOA, I have dealt with neuropathy and some gout issues in my feet to the point where it was hard to even bend my toes. I couldn't walk on anything without shoes that wasn't exactly smooth, or it would just hurt with a lot of intensity. But the MOA, I noticed after a while, putting my socks on in the morning, that, hey, look, I've got joints in my toes. I can actually see them now, and they bend. So that was pretty amazing. And I told Todd, I walked out to the mailbox one day without my shoes and said, "Oh, this is going to hurt." I was just too lazy to get my shoes, and it didn't. So, I mean, it can't cure neuropathy, but it sure helped with a lot of the symptoms that I was having. So I was very thankful for that, and looking forward to what else we can do and hoping we can share with other people. It's exciting when you have a transformation. And the gentleman talked last week about go out and get your transformation. You really need to do that. Yeah, a man with an experience is never at the mercy of a man with an argument. So if you've got something that you want to share and it's exciting, you don't mind doing it. So thank you, Todd. Appreciate the help you've given us. And Upline Help is amazing in this corporation. And we've decided to join and move on with that too. And you guys are just a lot of fun. I really enjoy the Saturdays. Thank you, Chris, for having this, and we certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, and Chris, you never know who you're listening to. Tom actually trains Navy pilots. He works there in Pensacola at the Naval Air Station and trains the pilots on the simulator. So he is putting our country in a really safe spot. So thank you for that, Tom. Tom and Karen also have sat dormant in our industry for a number of years, and you just never know when you shake somebody's hand what's in their head. But they were fairly big in Amway, got highly trained there. And when Tom actually started talking, I was like, this guy, he reminds me of Fred Duff in Virginia. The guy's got more one-liners than anybody I know. He can, when he said that what he just said, he said to me, he said, if you don't know where you're going, if you don't have a plan to be somewhere in 5 years different, you're already there. That is stuck with me. Like you can't just go through every day and expect to be somewhere different. That's a really powerful quote, Tom. But you and Karen are awesome. I see massive things happening for y'all's future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wrote that down. I thought that was a great line as well. And by the way, Tom, just for information, the first time to visit Florida, I was about 7 years old. My brother was at Pensacola in the flight school. So I went to visit and that was my first experience in Florida. I wasn't sure I wanted to eat one of them crawdads. I finally learned later was a shrimp. But country boy from Tennessee, I'm like, I ain't eating them crawdads. And I found out later they're shrimp, and I certainly love them today. But thank you so much for sharing. That's an incredible story. And obviously working at the Naval Station, it's an impressive place. I mean, it made an impact on me 60 years ago. Lord, what am I saying? 60 years
As a matter of
ago.
fact, Tom, could you share real quick? Because we always say these skinny drops give you discipline. But you were talking about you always brought donuts in the morning time, and I'll chop that story up. Can you share that real quick, and then we'll let you enjoy your day?
Yeah, I'm a supervisor out there with the instructors, and I bring them donuts every Friday. And if I don't, there would probably be an insurrection. So I'm still bringing them. And one of the things I thought is this bakery that makes homemade donuts every morning fresh here in our town. They're so awesome that I could never walk by one. I'd have to eat at least one, maybe two or three, but at least one. And I said, well, that's going to probably be a problem when I start this program. But, I haven't eaten one yet and didn't really want one. So it did help with the sugar cravings.
That's amazing.
And Chris, perfect timing on this morning, because we will be launching, if you're not aware of this already, we'll be launching a weight loss transformation challenge run by the company. I think there's $3,500 in cash prizes that are going to be available. I just got the PDF and access to the website. We'll be getting that out ASAP as soon as they give us the go on that. So everybody start gearing up to transform your body and use this transformation challenge to really revolutionize your business, especially now that we have the Renew to go along with it. Because remember, Renew creates lean muscle mass, helps you sleep better at night, all the things we need to really skyrocket our transformation. So very, very excited.
Thank you for sharing. It was a great story. I'm sorry we missed you last week. We got crazy busy and things just didn't fall together. Todd couldn't be with us last week. So anyway, guys, as we get started this morning, our main topic is talking about getting ready for 2023. How many people talk about New Year's resolutions? The entire country. The fact is, though, with New Year's resolutions rarely last very long. And my daughter talks about it a lot at the gym. She has more people join the gym the first week of January than any other time of the year. The problem is, by end of January, those people are paying, they paid their money, have already quit coming. And I'm guilty. I'm going to make that very clear. But I've never been guilty when it came to my financial side. Maybe it's because my why was bigger. And so as we begin this, we got multiple great people that are going to share with what they've done, successful people. But I'm going to share something with you that I heard some guys talking. Went to have some coffee, and I heard these guys at a table beside me, and they were kind of like, I call them dreamers. They were talking about all these ways they were going to make money, and they were talking about all these things they were going to do to make money, and they were talking big money, massive money. And I knew them, and they said, "What do you think about this idea?" And I said, "Well, what's the plan?" And they said, "What do you mean, what's the plan? We're going to do this." No, what's the plan to get to where you just talked about? Well, they didn't have a plan, and I didn't think that much about it until I watched them leave. And they were leaving in a car that would hardly crank. And I'm like, they're dreamers. There's a difference. Dreamers versus people that are doers. And that's kind of how my topic is people say, what do you contribute your success to? Honestly, for me, the first year is great, but I do this year round. I make small goals and I do things weekly. But resetting at January 1st is something most people like to do. But resetting will not do you any good if you don't follow through. And we've got some really successful people here. I don't even know who I should start with. So they don't even know who I'm going to start with. That's a cool part about Saturdays. I get to run the show. I get to pick who I'm going to call on. And Coach Palmer, I just sent him a picture of an orange Santa Claus, so he saw that too. So anyway, I'm going to call on Coach Palmer. I know he and Tracy. Here's what I want to point out. Guys, you're seeing these guys on the call, and you wonder what your leadership is doing. Brent, why don't you tell them what y'all are doing today? Because I'm sitting at home. You two guys, I know Tracy was flying yesterday. You're still out working. So Brent, let me start with you.
Absolutely. Actually, I've got my fingers crossed that my service will hold up. We're still focusing on service in Mississippi, trying to figure this thing out in Mississippi and Alabama, cell phone service. But so I'm pulled over. I'm headed to Jackson, Mississippi for an event tonight. So everybody in Jackson, Mississippi, or if you're anywhere around, like, come on. It's going to be a great event. I know Tracy's already there. So yeah, I'm pulled over, getting ready to go do that. And Chris, we talked earlier in the week about, going into 2023, when you look at this thing as a business, I'll tell you a couple of things going on in my world personally. And maybe I'll just start there. What is Brent Palmer focusing on right now? Okay. First of all, is being a product of the product. And Todd mentioned Renew just a little bit ago. I mean, I think about what I've seen in the different products this company has to offer, our opportunity has to offer. It's unbelievable. I've seen amazing testimonies with people that get on the skinny drops and start to use those. And so when we started focusing on Renew, I'm 47 years old and I was a football coach. So I love to eat. I love pizza. I love flour. I love sugar. I love all the bad stuff. So maybe you can give me a hand up the comments if that's what you like. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I got to be a product of the product 2023. And so I just want to give you I want to kind of tell you where I'm at. So I went with Renew and said, you know what, I'm going to start using it. And actually I'm using Renew at night, 30 minutes before I go to bed. I use it when I get up in the morning. It's just so easy. Then I started to get back into the gym, preparing for 2023. And so currently right now, I'm down 15 pounds. Todd mentioned lean. I am watching, now I got a ways to go for my goal weight. I've got about another 15 to 20 pounds to get to where I want to go, but I'm watching my body lean up. And it's been a while since that's happened, and my metabolism is I felt like wasn't where it used to be, but I'm starting to get back in it. I'm getting up at 4:45 every morning. I'm energized. I get to the gym and this is not pats on my back, because it wasn't long ago that I was not doing that. And I was eating all the bad stuff. And so that's number one, is I decided to pick a product and be a product of the product. And that's part of my 2023 business plan, is I'm going to transform my body so that people, when they see me, go, what in the world are you doing? So maybe it's the transformation throwdown challenge that the company is starting up. Like I would encourage you, find something and go all in with it so that the world can look at you and go, what are you doing? And you can easily, like that's your sizzle, is you are walking around and you're the billboard of the sizzle. So that's one thing I'm doing. The next thing I'm doing, and I actually shared on the Chalk Talk on Tuesday, Todd does income producing activity calls every day, Monday through Friday. And so I'm focused in 2023, everything being about income producing. Like, what am I doing to right business? What is Brent Palmer doing? Right? Leading with the tongue in my shoes, not just the tongue in my mouth. Like, what am I doing? And so I was telling everybody on the Chalk Talk on Tuesday, I'm getting ready. 2023 is my next $1 million year. Like, that's where I'm focused. Chris, you talked about somebody that jumping in a beat up car, but got the vision of going somewhere. My vision of going somewhere is 2023 is my next from zero to $1 million. So what am I doing to prepare for that? Well, I just told you one thing. The second thing I'm doing is from now until the end of the year, every day I'm putting 10 new names, and I got my book to show you. We're actually putting this book in Renew You, but I've got it says Keys to Unlock 2023. And as crazy as it seems, every day I'm putting 10 new people down on this. I don't know if you can see it because of the sun, but 10 new people, right? I'm not worrying about if they're rich. I'm not worrying about if they're poor. I'm not worried about if they would do this industry if they want. If they come to my mind, I'm putting them down right here. Doesn't mean I got to reach out to them today. It means I'm getting them down. That's part of my daily activity, 10 a day, 10 a day. Now on Wednesday, this past Wednesday on the Chalk Talk, we started it. If you did 10 a day until the end of the year, that's 250 new people. Just 10 a day. It's eating the elephant one bite at a time. That's not it. This is not income producing activity. This is going to lead to income producing activity. So now, what am I doing with those 10 people a day that I'm putting on the list? I'm allocating about 30 minutes a day to where I'm starting to reach out to my list, and I call it lead with love. Like I'm reaching out to them, and I'm just, how's the kids, Todd? Hey, how's Kate doing? Like I'm communicating. Before you go up to them and go, hey, give me $500 and join my business, they got to know you care. Like they got to know, like, man, this guy cares about me. So right now I'm reaching out, just communicating with people on my list. So 10 a day, I'm allocating a couple of minutes to reach out to 10 people a day to just communicate. I'm eating that elephant one bite at a time. But going back to Todd talks about income producing activities all the time. So I'm looking at this business like I'm using the Catalyst Club to get in to produce income activities. And I'm going back to, this is all I can refer to as my sheet. So I've started reaching out. I got to recognize Brandon McIntyre out of Lubbock, Texas, joined the team. He's on the call today. Brent Wofford, Michael and Sean Royster out of Kentucky's on the call. Uriel Martinez out of Orlando. Brian Roberts, Bill Anderson. Lane is joining me today. He's on the call. Not because I'm great, but because I'm just reaching out and I'm going, you know what? I got to put my hands on the keyboard and I got to write business. I got to bring in new people for that 2023 explosion, for that next $1 million business. And Chris, that's where my head's focused at. I'm excited. It's been a long time since I've had a burning in my belly, as I say it, to go run hard at this thing and go build. I see the opportunity we got. I see that we're about to announce a name of a company. I see what that means for being on the ground floor of that, and I'm not going to miss the opportunity.
Well, I knew that you were going to come strong, because that's exactly you know, you don't do the talk, you do the walk. I mean, as I call it, Rick Palmer walks the walk. That's why, you know, he's a great example to so many. And another guy that's the same way, and I'm gonna go straight to Tracy, because I mean, Tracy is someone I met since we merged. I mean, I guess that's what we call. So, you know, when we, you know what, I think sometimes we look back and think there's certain things that were bad about what happened. But sometimes you look like, you know what, some things that you think were so bad turns out to be so good. And, you know, there was a lot of us went through trials and tribulations as we adjusted. But I met Tracy, and I'm so thrilled that I did. I mean, got some beautiful daughters. I got to meet in Costa Rica. So, I mean, we get to become friends. But what I learned about Tracy was he's a guy who's just leads with love, loves people, not on my team. I mean, we're not affiliated financially in any form or fashion. I have never seen anybody work so hard to help so many other people that don't have any effect on them. So, Tracy, I want you to talk about what you do. I mean, you've been full-time in the industry now for what, 25, longer than me. And I thought I was in it long. I've been here 22. So,
yeah, it's almost 3 decades now. And that's scary. I turned 50 in a couple of weeks, and 3 decades I've been doing this industry. And so, you know, like what Brent was saying, to build on that, first of all, Brent, that burning in your belly is all the extra jalapenos that you put on everything that you eat. But you build on what he's talking about, building this list, and that's what we're doing. I've been at this for so long that and you think about it, 3 decades is a long time. I forgot who I actually knew, and so you got to start jogging down names. But this season that we're in right now is a perfect time to do what Brent's doing, is reaching out, talking to people. Merry Christmas. How you doing? Hope the family's well. You just drop that little thing, because we get paid to start conversations, right? That's what we do, is we have to fill the pipeline. We want people communicating with us. And like Brent said, hey, you got $500? I got this really good deal. Well, nobody likes to be sold. You know, was it Teddy Roosevelt says people don't care about what you know until they know how much you care. And you know, that's the reality. And so if we can go and we can start creating those conversations. So what I'm doing right now is I'm reaching out to people that I haven't talked to probably. I've been doing Noni for 20 years. So people know exactly what I'm doing. And so they've told me no a dozen times before, but now they don't know the new story, the new launch. And I got to reach back out to them. So the easy way to do that is to start a conversation like, hey, Merry Christmas. I hope you and the kids are doing well, and create that conversation that then we can get into, hey, what are you up to? How are you doing? It is one thing, but the big thing, and I shared a little bit this last week, and it's goals. Like you talk about the New Year resolutions that fail. Like we all do them every year. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to this. I'm going to stop eating this or whatever. And we last about 4 days, and we go back to our normal way of doing thing. That's life. But here's the key to that for me is declaring my goal. When I declare my goal and I make it known to you 5 guys that I'm looking at the screen, you're going to hold me accountable to what I said, right? So I don't want to fail. I don't want to look like a failure, because you know I don't want to have that against me. And so what I did, and I did something stupid back in 2009. I was on a transformation journey, and I hate working out. Working out is dumb. I don't like it, but I love to train. Training is something that I could do because it was a plan. I knew exactly what I was going to do. I didn't like figuring it out. And so I made this statement that I was going to do an Ironman triathlon. I want something big. A marathon, too simple. Let's do it with an Ironman. And I had friends tell me like, no, don't. Why don't you do a 5K? And I'm like, I know I'm fat, but I could do a 5K tomorrow. It's only 3 miles. Like, come on, seriously. And so I said I was going to do an Ironman. Didn't swim laps. Never ran more than a mile outside of, playing sports. And I didn't own a bike. And I said, I'm going to do the hardest race known to man. And they all made fun of me. But I made a point to tell everybody that I was doing an Ironman. I could not have backed out of finishing that goal if I wanted to. Couldn't back out of it. And so when you set your goals for business, it's the same way. If you say, I'm going to hit that next pin title, I'm going to hit that next sales, I'm going to help one person in my downline break something, and you just keep it secret, it's really easy to back off of. you're just not going to do it. But if you declare it out there and it's a statement and people know, if you have the competitive drive like I have and people in business too, you're going to hit that target because you're like, I'm not going to fail, because if I fail, I'm failing in public. And so for me, that's a big thing. Declare your goals. I'm not saying go out and just tell important people. You don't need to tell your grandma that you're looking to sell, an extra 1,000 points a week or anything like that. But you can just tell your upline, tell your sponsor, tell your upline leaders, your downline leaders, tell them what your goals are. And if you don't know what those are, call your upline, call your group leader and go, hey, I'm a little lost. I don't understand the comp plan. Where should I be putting my time and effort so I can maximize things for myself? And what would be a good goal that's accomplished, something that I can accomplish? And here's the thing that I have to admit to you. I set goals every year, and every year I've been in this business, and I fail to hit them every single year. Now I've got about 20 goals that I click off that list, but I always have goals that are unattainable for me to reach. They're unattainable for me to reach. I have never set a goal, at the beginning of the year where I've reached my pinnacle every single year, because I set it so far out there that it's a stretch that I have to keep working for it. And so, don't say, well, I just want to make an extra $200 a week. That's a great goal to have as a step, but force yourself, stretch yourself, commit to going to $500 a week extra, or maybe it's $1,000. And work towards that, because that's how you're going to crush past. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And so for me, I fail every year with my goal setting. So don't feel bad if you fail in your goals. And and right now, Brent was talking about the notebook from the Chalk Talk. If you haven't listened to that one, go back and go to YouTube and watch it, because it makes sense. And this is why it makes sense. When I go back to the Ironman, I had a 3-year plan. A 3-year workout plan, day by day, 5 days off in 3 years. I had 5 days of rest in 3 years, and I took only those 5 days. And because I had a coach that was like had it all laid out for me. But the reason I kept up with it is because I knew that it was building on everything. And so I was doing a 2-mile run today because I knew I had to do 4 miles next week. And I knew that the week after that, it had to be 5.5. And I knew that it was still, so there's just, everything was building on each other. And in this business, in this industry, that's how you have to think about it. You're not going to go from 0 to chairperson overnight. You have to hit team lead. You have to go through all the steps, right? And so when it comes to leads in business, it's the same way. You have to have names in your pipeline. And what you're doing today with the 250 names, like Brent talked about, isn't for January 1st. That is for possibly September of next year. You don't know where people on that list are at in their life. So you need to start the process now to communicate, and it's a long play. And that's why the guys that I'm looking at on the screen are so successful, is because they stay committed, they stay in the workflow, and they're constantly contacting new people in this business. And so those simple things are the reasons why right now is a perfect time of year to be excited about everything.
I want to add something to what he said that probably is one of the most important things. And it's funny how it kind of, I didn't even know what he was going to talk about. But when I joined this industry, I wrote down a 5-year goal for this business. And it was not, but then I had to figure out how I was going to make it to those 5 years. So what Brent said is what made you get there. And it's funny how I hear people say, young or old school. I'm like, well, folks, you got to have prospects. So writing a name list is about a basic fundamental as it comes down to. I don't care if it's old school or not. I watched a high school football game last night, all-stars. And guess what? They were all all-stars, but they all did the same thing. Still blocking and tackling, still the basic. I know we talk about coaching. I'm not a coach, but business, so many people join and they think, okay, I've been doing this for 3 weeks. Okay, you're learning. And Todd will tell you, I suck.
Chris, I think one thing to point out, let you elaborate on is I was with you when you wrote those 5-year goals. And I know of at least 3 separate times about year 2 or 3, you looked at me and said, I don't think this industry's for me. And you were within a hair of quitting. You just never could break through that first couple of years.
I think I should elaborate a little bit more. I didn't just tell you I was going to quit. I went to bed thinking I'd quit. But to Ken Bailey's point, I had to get up the next morning and tell everybody else I wasn't going to make it. I wasn't going to be able to do it. I couldn't tell my kids they couldn't do what I needed to do. So you're right, Todd. I quit. And that's why I get frustrated when I hear someone say, my gosh, what's wrong with me? Because they think someone else hit a title so quickly when I was that person. There was people in my own organization. Todd knows this because he was, my upline. I had people, and Ken remembers it. I had people in my downline that were way more successful than I were. And it drove me crazy. I thought I was just bad. But you know what it really meant? I was in a learning process. I really mean that. I was in a learning process. And someone entered my business that was way better than me, and I knew what to do then. I kind of knew how to help them make it to the next level. And obviously I've never looked back, but I always want to point out to people, it's those who work longer and work their way through it, but they want to work through it by just, no offense, I'm glad everybody's on Saturday morning trying to learn that you're showing dedication, but plugging into us on Saturday morning is not an income producing activity. And writing that name list, funny, Brent has one. I got to show you something. I do this on all my calls. I'm too ADHD not to do multitasking at one time. So I'm always thinking about somebody I might bring onto the team. But if you don't do the income producing activity, all the other things doesn't matter. Nothing else really matters. And by the way, apparently we got Ken Bailey now going to join us each week. We didn't put him on the flyer, but I'm going to someone who's done as well in this industry. We've been friends and working not on the same team, but we are on the same team. We're just not in the same line for, goodness, Ken, 20 years, I guess. It's hard to believe we've been, no, we both watch each other turn gray. So Ken, why don't you share something? I love why don't you tell them about the acorn? I love that. That's why always Ken's going to talk about the acorn.
Yeah, Chris, first of all, I didn't come on to speak this morning. Didn't even plan to, but it goes back everything Brent's talked about, Tracy's talked about, Chris talked about, Todd's talked about, folks. And I just made making notes as they were talking. It is about taking action, Chris. There's two ways to get to the top of an oak tree. You can take action and go climb the tree, or you can sit on an acorn and wait. Okay, guys, you don't be sitting on the acorn here. I promise you, it's time to take action if there's ever been a time to take action. So I got on here, by the way, it's about our mindset. I got on here to feed my mind. Guys, feed your mind positive information, read scriptures, get around positive minded people. There's negative people out there, and that's not going to help you at all. But I want to quickly go back to Tom and Kelly. By the way, congratulations, 40-pound weight loss, other ailments and whatever. But a couple lessons there. Number one is Benny and Gracie didn't give up on it. They took action and started that transformation class. So they wasn't sitting around just waiting. So they were taking action, and that brought a no of several years, it sounds like, to a very, very positive experience. And something that a quote that Tom had there, I love. He said, "A man with experience is never at the mercy of a man with an argument." Folks, once you experience these products, once you experience this business model, somebody can tell Tom that our products don't work now. It's too late. He's already experienced it, right? You can't tell any of us our business model don't work. We've been blessed to make millions of dollars in the industry. I don't care anybody. It's kind of like once you experience Jesus Christ, nobody can tell you he's not real, right? People can say things. Guys, so get your experience. Very, very important. And two last things, Chris, real quick, is work a little bit through the holidays. I'm not saying don't be with your family. Your family's much more important than this business model, but it's an opportunity to plant seeds. Whether you're using the Transformation Challenge that Todd was talking about, whether you're using the Catalyst Club, I can just tell you the Catalyst Club has exploded some of my team. I've got people here in North Carolina, Chris, that hadn't sponsored anybody in 2 or 3 years that have got the Catalyst Club 3 already, like in the first 3 or 4 weeks. So we're using that as a team, just whatever it is that excites you, to plant those seeds. You're going to see people through the holidays maybe you don't normally see. And I'm not saying that at Christmas dinner or whatever, it's all about the business. I'm just saying plant some seeds there that you can come back to them after the holidays or whatever. But if you'll work through the holidays, it'll give you a rolling start in January. What do I mean by that? Just had this happen this morning. You ever pull up to a stoplight and you know it's about to turn green, somebody else has already stopped in the other lane, and you slow down, but you don't want to stop. You want that rolling start, then it turns green and you leave the people in the dust, right? Guys, if you'll work through the holidays, you'll have a rolling start into January. And those people who wait till January the 3rd, you done left them behind because you've got your list, you've made your calls. Very, very important. And the last thing, guys, embrace challenges. We've had some struggles, maybe some trials, and going through a merger and all this. And but guys, we've come out of it bigger and better than ever. Chris was talking about Tracy and the relationship earlier, that sometimes you think something awful has happened, but it turns out to be the best thing ever. So sometimes struggles and trials, not sometimes, struggles and trials are what makes you stronger. And real quick analogy, Brent was talking about going to the gym. Guys, think about if you went to Kristen Doyle's gym and you walked into that gym and all she had was chairs and pillows sitting around. It'd be pretty easy just to go sit down, right? But it wouldn't help you. It wouldn't make you stronger. You're actually going to make your muscles hurt for a little while, but you emerge bigger, better than ever. That's what's happened to us as a company. We've emerged bigger and better than ever, even though it was a struggle and it was a trial, and maybe we didn't like it at the time. But I can tell you, as a $300 million debt-free company with all these things that we're going to be announcing on top of what we already have, folks, it's time to go climb the oak tree, Chris, and take action and make sure you have a rolling start into the new year. Hopefully that helps somebody.
Hey, I love that. Rolling start into the new year. I don't know what else that's exactly what it comes down to. And I'm gonna give you an example of that. And people always ask, where do you prospect at? And so many people don't, there's opportunities everywhere. So I'm gonna bring something up that happened yesterday. I had to pick up some things at Walgreens. You know, I had the honey-do list. Judy sent me to Walgreens to pick up some stuff. And I ran into a friend I had not seen in 14 years. And we were great friends, but you know, how you get separated from people from long term. We had boated a lot together. We were both into boats. We've both gotten out of it, and I've gotten back into it. But he brought up, I just want to catch up with him and his wife. And who said that? They got to talk to people a little bit, set the seed, as Brent said. Don't just call, say, I need to join my $500 business. Now, he is a guy that can kill this. I hate to say it, but man, I was glad to see him, but the light bulbs was going off in my brain. And I said, what are you doing here? And he said, what brought thought of it was he has neuropathy in his feet. Now, I didn't say I could fix neuropathy. I just said, really? I said, I hate to hear that, Mark. He said, it really gives me trouble. I'm here to get a prescription to help with the pain. Now, I didn't just jump out and do something. I just kept talking, but I wasn't about to leave till we had a conversation about what me doing. He bought a box of Moa. I put him on Moa yesterday, just one thing. And I said, we have other things. If this one doesn't work, he's got plenty of money. I mean, the guys, it wouldn't matter what it costs. But I wanted just to get the plug in. And I said, I sent him a sample. I bought it. Why did I do that? I'm willing to invest a box of Moa this guy, because I know long-term he could be massive. Could I get him? I don't know. I planted a seed. He's got a video and he's getting a box of Moa next week. I'm willing to invest a little bit to figure that out. And I just bring that up because you just don't know where that opportunity is going to be, but it won't be laying on your couch watching a rerun of Andy Griffith's show. It won't be. I mean, I love Barney to get in, but it ain't going to happen. We need people. So Todd's always a guy that, you know, I know he thinks about the year. He doesn't, his work ethic is simple. It's just another day. We work that's what he does. Todd, why don't you kind of wrap that up with that part, and tell us what's going on next week.
Yeah, Chris, you know, the exciting part of us headed into 2023 is 2022 is closing with an explosion. I mean, you know, our back office, it tracks brand partner signups. So I know in our organization, brand partner signups are skyrocketing. Ken knows the percentage, but I think it's up like 30% month over month, maybe even a little bit more. People like Marla Finn over there in North Carolina, and others that kind of been treading water for a little while are exploding. I mean, people signing up, people all over the place. I was just in Huntsville, Alabama. I spent 3 hours with Ernest Starks Thursday morning. He sponsored 3 brand partners. Then they dumped me off to Sonia Infinger for 3 hours that afternoon. Sonia signed up 3 brand partners. And then we went to the meeting that night. Hill and Diane came over from Decatur, had about 30 at the meeting, and I think 4 more signed up at the meeting. So it is there is a push going on right now like never before. As a matter of fact, I got home so tired yesterday, I laid down and I woke up to a text this morning. I was supposed to be on a Zoom into Richmond, Virginia with a doctor last night. And I had to call them to apologize. And when I called them, they were in a training with 15 people this morning. They couldn't even talk. So there's just activity everywhere. Brent and Tracy headed to Jackson, Tennessee. I know Brent was in Lubbock, Texas last week, had just crazy great meetings out there in Lubbock, just excitement going on everywhere. And when you see that in December, Chris, just bet your bottom dollar it's going to tenfold in January. So what you have to do, what I have to do is I have to go capture my fair share. I have to go get my market share. Anytime a company like ours is going to come out with a new name and a new beginning, there's going to be an explosion, and there's going to be a real opportunity for every individual in our company to capture market share of the company. That was one thing that was ingrained in my head early on. When I would complain to my mentor about our industry, he said, he used to always tell me, he said, Todd, you can smell quit coming 6 months before they finally quit. So we've all got those people in our organization. We know quit is inevitable because they're already stinking. We smell it all over them. And you have to recognize that and separate yourself from those people because they will drag you down. The compensation plan don't work, or whatever people say to make up in their mind a good excuse for them quitting. But simultaneously, I promise you, for every quitter, there's someone new emerging into greatness. So as a leader out there, what you have to always figure out is where to put your time, where to put your energy. And it's never on resuscitating someone that's headed to a certain death. It's putting your energy into the up and coming superstar or superstars that are wanting to go to another level. And that's what Brent does really well. Chris, Ken, Tracy, and a lot of others on here. You recognize that. You know, the Bible tells us to guard your tongue. And I've always said, if you could ever figure out how powerful your speech and tongue is, you would be very, very cautious of everything that you say, because you literally will speak your existence of your future into being. And that's both good and bad. So, you know, when you train yourself to watch your tongue and only speak good things and only be positive, that doesn't mean your brain doesn't have negative thoughts. So what I encourage everybody to do as you set these 2023 goals is you create a discipline that when you have that negative thought, you do not speak it out, even to yourself or your spouse. You know, your spouse is who I'm guilty of it. I'll be positive all day with 100 people, and I'll come home and let my wife Ashley have it. I'll be like, but it's not, and we all have done that. Hopefully I'm not the only man that's done that. Chris, I know you and I talk about it a little bit every now and then, especially when we've had a bad day and they want us to recap it with them. I mean, anybody ever done that with their spouse, or is it just Chris and I? So it is, you have to be really careful. So that is my 2023 goal, is I want to become an absolute 100% expert at only, no matter who it is, even if it's my spouse, myself, only speaking into existence what I want my future to hold. And I encourage everybody out here to do the same thing. And that's done by constantly filling your brain with the right information. And I know in our business, we're always trying to do two things. We're trying to transform our health. Brent alluded to that, what his goals are on that. And we're trying to transform our finances. So when I get that in line, whatever that's going to be for me, weight loss, more lean muscle mass, ripping up, winning the competition that's about to launch, changing the zeros and the comma spot in my savings and checking account, creating a cash flow that allows me to have time freedom, whatever my goals are, then I have to do three things. Number one, for the health side, I have to put information in my head to make me better. YouTube is a multi-million-dollar resource. Even TikTok, follow the right people that are transforming their life health, put it in all the time. Two, financially, listen to things to grow your mind as a leader, as a person being positive. Always put positive information in, turn the negative stuff off. And number three, start checking yourself. Like, I've got this positive inflow coming in. The third step is to watch my positive outflow going out and stop all negativity from coming out of my mouth. And if you do that, it will form a new habit in you. And by January, you'll be struggling with it. By February, it'll be getting easier. And by March, you'll have a new habit. People will be like, who are you? You're the most positive person I've ever met. You're not who I used to know. So guys, 2023 is our year. The company's going with or without us. It ain't got nothing to do with me. It ain't got nothing to do with Ken, Brent, Tracy, Chris. What we're trying to do is all go capture our fair share of market share. And because of the timing, December is a month I always take off. I like to take a lot of time off, but I was gone all last week. Monday, I'm in St. Simon Island, Georgia with Nancy Botsford all day. Tuesday, I'm with Ed in Manning, South Carolina. Wednesday, I'm coming back to Atlanta to meet up with a group of people. I have never worked in 18 years this hard in December. Why am I doing that? Because it's the time frame to capture market share in this company and redesign your savings and checking account. That when you redesign it one time in our industry, as Tracy just alluded, he's been doing this for 30 years. Once you create that residual income, it's going to follow you the rest of your life and give you freedoms and opportunities that nothing else on planet Earth will give you. So Chris, as you can tell, I'm really fired up this morning.
Well, these Saturday mornings always fire me up because I see the excitement in others' faces. And one thing I want to do this in the chat for me. If you want your business to change, and I'm going to give you a one-liner that I think will make a difference for you. If you want your business to improve in 2023, put a 1 in the chat. I want to see how many people want your business to go to another level. So I see the ones popping. So I'm going to give you something that I was told. Todd mentioned a mentor. It was my same mentor who still got his pictures on the wall that made a huge difference in my life. And I was complaining that my business was not growing. And he made a statement that has stuck with me for years and years. It's when my business changed. He said, you're working with people who don't want it as bad as you. You're working with people who don't want it. He said, I'm not telling you to quit working with them. I'm not telling you not to love on them. Brent says it all the time, love on everybody and help them. Later they may, but here's what he told me. Find you a couple of people who want this as bad as you. And you have to keep looking till you found them. Todd talked to you about when I was about to quit. That was the advice I got. Find me 2 new people who wanted this as bad as I did. And when I found them, I had the experience and I went and made, not me successful, or did I? I made them successful. And when you get those people successful, your own business will take off. And I think a lot of times we sit and mope that my team's not working. Then you need to find some more team members. I assure you, in the NFL, they're trading, because if they're sucking, they're trading. They're looking for, so sometimes we might need to trade in some of our team members. So if you're going to look for you somebody new, put a 2 in the chat. But look for the person who wants it. Just signing somebody up. I put somebody in yesterday. They ain't going to do this. I don't mean it bad. They love the product. They're too lazy. I know them. I've known them for 20 years. But they joined. Now they may lead me to a stud. That's my thought. Help me find you a couple of people to get you started, and I'll figure out if those people can do it. I'm about to do something that I may get in trouble for, but I've been so impressed with somebody off Brent's team, and I hope she doesn't kill me. Robin DeMio, you have been blowing my mind on social media with your pictures and all the things you do. And here I think I'm no good at social media. I don't even like commenting. I don't like liking. But Robin, you may kill me. You don't have to put your camera on. But I want to know do you mind coming on? We got about 7-8 minutes. And I know we got some other great leaders I could call on. But I have just been so impressed with Robin's posts lately. I mean, she has just posted after posted. And I'm like, and I like them. I'm not one of those that comment too much. Sometimes I get worried if I'm commenting on the ladies' post, I think I'm flirting. So, and Robin would be a good one to flirt with. I mean, she's a really attractive lady. So I'm not.
You're a flirt. You're a flirt.
Okay, I knew I was going to get that. But Robin, why don't you talk to us about what you see happening? I mean, I know this was totally, you're like, oh my goodness, he's just flipped me into calling on you. But your post, and I can see you work. I see some people working in December. They have others say, I'm going to wait. Robin ain't waiting. So talk to us about it, Robin. Talk about what you see. You got some time to talk about what you want to do.
Boy, Chris, I thank you. I won't turn my camera on. Trust me. It doesn't look as good as my post right now, but it's a lot earlier here in Colorado. But I love what you said, or maybe it was Todd that said it, that you have to find people who want it as bad as you do. And right now, there's not a lot of people that want it as bad as I do. And I want it because I can see it. I can see what's happening. And if you really tune into what has happened over the last several years and where our economy is right now, people need this industry. And we have what they want, what they need in their life. And I'm not saying they should quit their job and, go full time with us, but people need an extra $200 a week. They need an extra $500 a month. They need grocery money. They need extra gas money. They need Christmas money. They need money to pay their mortgage or their car payment. And we have that part-time. And the Catalyst Club, I'm telling you, is such a great tool because people love to be recognized. People love that. They want to be on the winning team. They want to be in the group that's, at the top, that's getting recognized. And I'm really not doing a lot of different things, except that I am looking for new people. So I have to develop posts on my social media or go out places that I've never been before to get new contacts, because my warm market has been burned up, for a while. But the warm market that I used to have, a lot of them are still in my business. They just don't work. They just drink the product or use the product. But I'm making posts because if you look at my posts and they're non-salesy, they're not threatening, like my post with a fur coat on, that has nothing to do with my business. But I have a lot of people comment on that about, wow, that looks good, that I haven't heard from in years. And so now I can go, wow, thanks for, commenting on that post. And I reached out to a gal who used to be in my business 7 years ago, and she commented on one of my posts. Well, she lives in Tennessee. The reason she left my business because she moved to Kenya several years ago with her family because of their work. And so they moved back to the States. They now live in Nashville, and she just happened to be going to be in Denver. So she invited me to a networking group the other night that was of multi-millionaires. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I belong here. And I was invited to an event tomorrow to go with the top realtors in all of Colorado to be at an event tomorrow. And I was with AC Caswell from the Oakland Raiders the other night. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the level of people that one little contact brought me has really notched up. And that's what you want. You want, if you're, deadbeat people, sorry guys, if you're deadbeat people, are him-hawing and complaining and all that, get a new group of people. Go find a new group of people, because I don't want to hang around with the people who are bitching and moaning all the time. Sorry. I got enough of my own troubles that I got to keep my own head out of my, where. And so I got to tell you have to find new people. And that's one way to do it. Make some posts on your Facebook that will attract people that aren't suspecting that you're trying to sell them something, because nobody wants to be sold. But everybody loves to buy. They love to buy, and they will be friendly and they'll comment on your posts. Just find something that will draw attention to you where people will actually make comments. So I don't know if that helps you or not, but that's what I'm doing. I'm looking for new people. I'm looking for new blood. Gary used to tell us, new blood is your lifeblood. And there's nothing that your one new promoter and one new person can't help you with, can't help you get over in your life. If you have some excitement of a new person that's excited. And so you do want to find somebody who wants it way more than you do, or as much as you do. So thanks for letting me chat, Chris.
I know I put you on the spot, but sometimes you hear people just talk from the heart. And I mean, so Brent does every week, so does Ken and Tracy, but we don't really have a scripted. We just kind of have a topic. But I knew Robin. I've just been watching it. It's been impressive. I mean, she said something I thought was interesting. Andrew Roster started for grocery money. I still remember that story.
That's
Andrew
right.
Roster started for grocery money.
That's right.
I mean, I'll be very honest. I'm trying to replace the fact that I lost a multi-million-dollar company. So, but you've got to start with what they want.
Yes. And I have one more thing.
Yeah. No problem.
December, Todd was saying, you were saying, Todd, that, you haven't worked this hard in December in a long time. Well, let me just tell you, on our team, the people that started in December, you guys know any of these names? Brent Palmer, Tammy Maltby, Robin DeMio. I don't know when Andrea started, but people
Todd
are
Rowland,
looking.
Kim Ray. There's something about starting in December because you catch the January, February, March wave and you make money so quickly it locks you in.
Yes. And I started December 14th and I was not looking for a business. I was looking for some help with my health. But what I did know, because I'm a human being and I care about others, I knew the industry. So also people who have been in the industry, they know how the industry can help. Maybe they've been burnt out by another company. Maybe they were tired and they stopped for a while, or their company stopped or whatever. But people need what we have right now. So I brought literally 3 people with me to my first event. That was at Tammy Maltby's house on December 14th. And I signed up, ordered my big pack of products, $1,000. And I had no money. I had to borrow that money from my 17-year-old daughter. Talk about being humbled. But do you know what? I brought 3 people and 2 of them ordered with me and I made $500 that night. I was paid on it the next Thursday. And then the next week I brought 3 more people and 3 more people signed up. And I signed up 6 people in 2 weeks. And at that time, this is 8 years ago now, I was the number 6 enroller in the whole company. I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't even know that happened. I was ignorance on fire and I just went. And that's what you got to look for. You got to get people excited. You got to look for the emotion that they're lacking. They need excitement right now. I mean, look at the world of what's going on. We've been through hell. Everybody's been through hell. And everybody needs some encouragement. They need a community of people that are having fun, while they're working, they're making money, they're feeling better because of the products. They got a new community of people that are positive. Anybody who you ask, if you say, would you rather hang out with negative people that are complaining all the time and bitching and moaning, or would you like to hang out with people who are positive, motivated, they got smiles on their face, they want to be around you, right? Let me tell you who I pick. I pick the people that are positive and fun and having a good time and learning as they grow. So I just think this is your best, most opportune time because you're setting yourself up for the first quarter of next year to really have some success and to really change some lives. I contacted Crystal, I think it was January 11th. She was one of my very first people. Here's the other thing, guys. I don't know if you believe in, God or what. I'm a believer in the Lord Jesus. I'm a believer in God. And I know that the living God talks to me. And I said, I don't want to do this the way I used to do it. I don't want to have to talk to 100 people to get one. I said, I want you to tell me, who do I talk to so that this can be a benefit to other people as well. And Crystal Vance's name dropped into my head. Now I hadn't talked to Crystal in 5 years. So I reached out to her. She said, okay, that's all. And 3 months later, she said, I'm ready. Let's do it. Now look where she's at now. And so, if somebody's name drops into your head or your heart, reach out to them. it might not be for the business. It might be for the product, and it might just be because they need to hear your voice. But whatever the case, it's opening a door for a relationship with you. So that's my encouragement. I hope that was helpful.
It was, Robin. You know what? I think if we didn't get anything else, can y'all feel the excitement in Robin's voice? I'm not sure she took a breath. She's pumped. I mean that honestly, though. You're excited. I could tell that from your post. I'm going to finish with this. We are over time a little bit. We all talked about the people that have joined in December. I didn't join this industry in December. I was dripped on in December, though. In the middle of December, I had been dripped on and hid from them. They were family members I knew I was going to have to see at Christmas, but I'd been dripped on during Christmas, and I didn't meet Coach Rowland until February. And then I didn't join because I didn't see it at the beginning. So I was dripped on a lot to finally get to a meeting where I met Todd Rowland. So anyway, guys, I hope you got something good from that. Anthony Moreland, I don't know what we do these meetings without you. He's always here, gets things taken care of, runs the rooms. Anthony, you know, you're the bomb. Even if you do like the Dallas Cowboys, we're still going.
Hey, y'all don't forget about next week. You forgot to make.
Oh, that's the last thing we want to mention. Thank you, Anthony. So that's why we need to make sure Anthony's taking on top of it. Guys, you need to mark your calendars right now. We don't normally announce our guests for next Saturdays early because we obviously don't even know for sure what we're going to do normally. But next Saturday, the 17th, and we won't be having one the next week. So we're going to finish this one this year with a bang. We have CEO Darren Zorbist and John Wadsworth Jr. will be our guest to talk about. We're going to have a couple of transformation stories in the beginning. You'll be selected for those, but we're going to talk about what's coming. There's no telling what they'll be able to tell us by next Saturday. I'm excited because I know the announcements are close to being done. I don't know what day. None of us do. We're multiple partners council members on this call. I assure you, they
Chris, I did talk to Cameron yesterday, and Cameron said two things really important. One is U.S. sales are above 1 million a week again. And two, he said that the Partners Council call will be next week. We'll vote on the branding. The name's been decided. We'll vote on the branding. And then the following week, we should be able to start the Whisper campaign with the official launch coming February 1st. So looks like we are right on the cusp. They might even be able to announce it next week. I will give everybody a homework assignment. Darren Zorbist, he had a pre-diabetes. He was about 40 pounds overweight. This is our new CEO. He was living in Puerto Rico. He had sold his company to Bumblebee Tuna. And he went to the doctor, and the doctor told him that he had to lose some weight. He said he wasn't feeling good. But anyway, if you've seen Darren lately, he is an absolute picture of health, almost skinny. But he read a book called Bright Line. Brent read the book and then said, Todd, you got to read this. So I'm not a reader, but I am a listener. So a couple of weeks ago when I went to Virginia, I did it on Audible. So you can go download Bright Line, but I'm going to give you 2 seconds because this is for the 2023 goals. The book is not a weight loss book. It was written by a neurologist, a brain doctor. And what she says in there is her question is why can highly disciplined, hardworking people not lose weight and keep it off? There's something going on because we all know how hard that battle is. All of us in this journey all know. And what the book is about is that sugar and flour are more addicting in the brain than cocaine. So what the bright line is the bright line is no sugar, no flour. Well, if you open up our Slenderized approved food list in the book, there's no sugar and no flour anywhere in the approved food list. But I get this question all the time. Can I cheat on Saturday? Can I have this? Can I have a glass of wine? And so forth. Well, what the neurologist says, and this is like the aha moment for me, and I'm down 15 pounds since I listened to the book. What she says is that's the equivalent of saying I'm a cocaine addict. Can I just have cocaine on Saturdays? Sure you can. Okay, how much sense does that make? So the question is, if my 2023 goal is to reset my body, there is a bright line. And if you cross that bright line, you are triggering things in your brain, just like cocaine does, that you're not going to be able to say no. So I'm not saying it's your goal, but if it is your goal to reset your body in 2023, download that book or read that book, The Bright Line Eating, I think is actually what it's called.
Bright Line Eating, because we've had people
Right.
ask the name of that book again, so we'll make sure we get, Todd Rowland talks really fast. That's a coach's thing.
Yeah, I'll pull it up on Audible as you're closing out. That way I can tell you the exact name.
So I mean, Bright Line, BRIGHTLINE, Bright Line, is that correct?
Yeah, by Susan Pierce Thompson, PhD.
That's it.
Yeah, Bright Line Eating. I just downloaded it.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's a really, matter of fact, I had tokens in my Audible. I didn't even know I had it. I got it for free, but I think it's only like a $10 or $12 book.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give you all another
Thank
assignment
you, Tracy.
for all of you on here. Guys, if there's anything we want to do, we want to impress our CEO next week. So not only do you commit to being here for the 17th, unless you're, a funeral and it's your own. Okay, that will get you out. Other than that, your own. And the other thing is you make sure you promote this to your team members, that they need to hear what's going on with this company. I believe next Saturday with Darren will be very good for people. You're always fresh. I think that's why the Saturday morning call has been so successful. I think sometimes when the company call on Monday night, we're tired, we're not really mode to listen. And on Saturday mornings at this time, everybody's mind's fresh, we're listening. So I want to impress them next week. So with this room will hold 500. I want to see.
And we're going to, we've got it planned out. We're going to have like 5 to 7, like 30-second testimonials, because we want John and Darren to hear from all of us too, so they'll know who we are. So we're going to be reaching out to you, but Maureen, you're always here. You be the representation from Canada. And if you have another person or two that can keep it to 30 seconds and just give a physical or financial testimonial of the company done from in 30 seconds, shoot those people to Chris and I, and we'll pull them up next Saturday. And some others here in America will reach out to that you're a little easier to communicate with.
Sorry we're so late, guys. I'm gonna ask you to at least wave and say you will be on next Saturday. You can unmute the lines, and you're going to be promoting all week to come in and listen to what's going on with our company.
God bless you.
Thanks again to all of you.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Be there.